Let me see if I can. All right. Oh yeah, now I can see the countdown.
Okay.
With
a stripper.
As well, you should be.
The stripper. We got Essence revealed on.
Hey.
And her theme song. I think I'm in love with this ex-stripper. Essence revealed.
Everybody should be.
Yes. We're going to give people a few minutes to come on.
Awesome.
Nighting.
Bunk, bunk, bunk.
The stripper. The stripper. All right. Welcome to another live masturbation month. We got Essence revealed today. We're going to be talking some more about sexuality, good sex conversations, natural conversations, letting it flow. So I've been so excited. People have been coming on, sending me messages about the lovely people that I've had on, mostly ladies. I had one guy on.
Okay.
And so it's been some great conversations. So I'm looking forward to today's as well. It's kind of going to be sending off the month of May for Masturbation Month. So Essence, why don't you go ahead and share, tell us who you are. So my people that's coming on can know who you are.
Cool. I will. Hello, my name is Essence Revealed, and I am a former stripper. I worked in clubs in New York, New Jersey, Las Vegas, California for about a decade. Wrote a book about it. And now I am a burlesque performer as well as an author, speaker, teacher, because I wrote a book called Strip, A Stripper's 20 Life Winning Lessons, which originally was going to be called Hustle, because it's pretty much how to get through life, attracting and manifesting what you want, and how to, all of the lessons that I learned in the club, getting over talking about sex, talking about money, asking for the big numbers and all that stuff. So now I want to share that all with the world, especially women.
Yes. And that is so awesome, because I think that as women, we need to know how to ask. I had someone, say to me, I have difficulty receiving. It's hard to receive. I think when you work in this field and you have to ask, and you have not only ask, but demand what you're worth.
Yes.
It's a skill set.
It is. And the scary thing is, a lot of times I think that we think with our own pockets or the pockets from our upbringing. And so asking for money could seem like, I don't know, 300, 500, 10,000, whatever number it is. That's way too big in our minds.
Mm-hmm.
But in somebody else's mind,
Right.
like, I will absolutely give you $10,000 to do this thing, And so we have
Mm-hmm.
to remember not to think with our own pockets or our own training in our heads about numbers.
Right. And and that's something with everything, like even in my line of work, in the beginning, and honestly still sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, it feels so difficult to ask. Like, I'm doing a course and then I'm like, oh, this is too expensive. Maybe I need to, make it a little bit lower so more people can do it. And the thing is that's a poverty mindset. And I know that.
Exactly.
And so with anything we do in life, whether it's connecting to our sexual power, who we are, our work, valuing and getting out of that poverty mindset. Because like you said,
Yeah.
there's somebody who's going to be able to pay for that.
Yes.
There's someone who knock out $10,000.
Sneaker
And
money
so,
for them. You know.
right, exactly. So it really is about like owning your power, owning your worth, knowing what it's worth, and being able to ask for that. So
It is.
what helps? Mhm.
I feel like I hear a lot of women say that they're not only just uncomfortable receiving in general, but
Mhm.
specifically receiving something from someone makes them feel like they're obligated to that person, especially if it's a man
Right.
giving a woman something. And I often have to remind people, no, that is the end of the contract. Someone decided to do something for you. Maybe you asked for it, maybe you didn't. And they decided to gift you with this thing. That's the end of the contract. You no longer owe them anything. Think about when you give. Do you ever give and think, I'm giving this thing because I better get something back from it? Very seldom are we, if givers think that way, it hardly ever happens. So,
Right.
it's getting to that place where you understand that just because you were born, you are worthy. That
Mhm. Yeah.
that's all you need to be able to ask for the thing is knowing that just because you were born makes you worthy of whatever amount you decide you're going to charge.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
for me at first because I was in my mid-20s. I didn't even know how to be sexy at that point. I didn't know what sexy was. And so add on top of that, being sexy and having to negotiate with businessmen, it could be
Right.
intimidating, but it was great training wheels because you realize we all can talk about it. We all can negotiate. We all can especially use our sexual power to magnetize these things to us. Masturbation
Mhm.
can be a prayer. I had someone in
Yes.
the group get upset with me once because I was talking about this, and I'm like, I'm going to let you live with that, but it absolutely can be. Sexual energy can be a prayer for manifestation.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about that. And I talk about that as well. And I definitely agree with that. And that's one of the things that I use as well to manifest. But share a little bit more. How can masturbation be a prayer? How can masturbation help us to manifest?
I feel like anything we do, it's about setting the intention. So whether you were with a partner or alone, you can set an intention for what you want this energy to go towards, right?
Mhm.
So if I'm
Yes.
working on a goal and I'm trying to manifest this thing into me, and I feel like I want a little extra push of it getting towards me, then I will use meditation, masturbation as a prayer to send out the energy of what I
Mhm.
so it
Yes.
comes back in. Because a lot of times
Right.
I think people mistake manifestation for something that, comes from out there when
Mhm.
it's actually more a boomerang. So whatever you have inside and you put out becomes an attractor for whatever
Yes.
you want. So masturbation for me is like an extra magnet.
Yes. Yes. I love that you said that. Um, First, let me welcome those who are coming on. Hello, everyone. Hello, yes. Thank you guys for coming on. Please feel free to share any comments that you might have or questions that you might have on sexuality and masturbation. And that is so powerful. You know, when we're using the sexual energy, whether it's through masturbation, through sex, through doing sexual using the sexual energy through different types of breath work, meditation,
Yeah,
we have the power to manifest a lot quicker. And
absolutely.
so absolutely, absolutely. Today, for example, I had a client who's been wanting to like change her job, and we did a tantric meditation, and I had her think about her intention. We were doing the breath work, moving the pelvic area. Really, so a lot of that helps. And so what you notice is when we're looking into doing the sex magic or masturbation prayer, things come a lot quicker than you think. But the thing is also that I find is important, we have to let go of the expectations. And so this is one of the things that I tell my clients all
Yes.
the time. You know, you set that intention for what you want to manifest. Work with the sexual energy, whether it's through masturbation or whatever sex, doing sex, tantric sex, and then release it. Because if
Yeah.
you keep thinking about it, you're like, is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? You're saying to the universe that you don't really trust. You don't trust that it's going to come.
And your
So
attention is on the fact that you don't have it. I think this is a
exactly.
key part that people miss when they're trying to manifest things. It's like, you know, I want it so bad, it hurts. And that is not the kind of energy you want to try to manifest with. It's like white knuckling your way through to get what you want. And so
Mhm.
that's one of the reasons that I think masturbation is useful, because the power is in the release. You set the intention
Yes.
very clearly when you are daydreaming about it, when you are meditating about it, when you are praying about it. It really is about getting into the feelings. And sometimes if we're just meditating or if we're just praying, it may be hard to get into really good feeling feelings. And so
Yes.
that's how meditation can help, because you manifest things when you feel that knowing inside of yourself, when you feel the joy of having that, instead of being like, is it here yet? Is it here yet? Because that's just the focus on it not being here. But you're like, ooh, it's here, and I can see myself doing this, that, and the next thing, you know, like my
Yes.
bank account be looking at me like, how you getting on a plane again? And I'm like,
Right.
you know,
That's
money
so
is only one form of currency.
yes. Yes. It's so funny. Money is one form of currency. Energy is currency. Energy is the real currency. And I'm so glad you said that. People be looking at me and they be like, Renee must be rich. I think
Right.
she got tons of money. They don't be realizing that my bank account be on zero, like for real, for real.
For real, for
But
real.
that same thing, somebody be like, Renee, come to Bali. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go to Bali. And I'd be like, yes, I'm going to Bali. I will have $0 in my bank account, and I'm like, I'm going to Bali. And it happens. You know, I had one time somebody was like, oh, let's go to some other country, I forget. The whole price was $1,500. I was like, literally, I didn't have that $1,500. You know, I'm doing my manifestations, working with this energy. I get a call from someone. You want to can you come speak at my university? I'm like, okay, sure. How much are you going to pay? $1,500. It was $1,500 exactly.
Yes.
And so I tell you that energy, it's like when you're working with this, it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter if you have $0 in your bank account. What you want will come. It will happen. You also have to trust and not be like, oh, I don't have the money. I don't have the money. How am I going to do this?
Yeah.
I never do that. I'd be like, okay, I'm going.
I'm going. I
What,
find that a lot
what do
of
you want?
people feel like they want to protect themselves, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna want this thing so badly, or I'm gonna prepare myself so that I'm not disappointed if it doesn't show up when I want, how I want, you know, if at all, because our
Mm-hmm.
energy isn't right to make that connection quite yet. Um,
Right.
and so I that protection is part of what keeps the goal away. You know,
Yes.
like I can't, if I'm walking up to a guy in a club and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna walk up to him and just be like, hey, would you like a dance? So that I'm
Mm-hmm.
not setting myself up for the disappointment of if he says no,
Mm-hmm.
I can just be like, okay. As opposed
Right.
to going forward expecting to get the yes, right? You know, if I'm walking up to you and I'm like, hey, what are you doing here today?
I
And we get
shit.
into a
I'm like, what you
conversation.
want me to be doing?
Right? It's a whole different energy, you know. I used to walk up to the men in the clubs like, oh God, they're not gonna want to talk to me. They're probably looking for a blonde, blah blah. Hi, what's your name? And that didn't work.
Right.
It only
Right.
worked when I was like, I know that I'm gonna walk up to this person and you know, they're gonna want my company and it will flow from there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to watch, I talk about this story in my book. I used to watch groups of pretty girls standing in the
Mm-hmm.
corner drinking and complaining that there was no money to be made. And
Right.
there would be like, you know, just your average girl next door kind of look. And there was this one girl who would talk to everybody in the club and she would get dances. She would get dances, she would get dances, she would get dances. And the pretty girl crew would be like, I cannot believe that she is making money.
Mm-hmm.
Is that she's putting that intention out there and she's taking the action with the intention that she knows she's going to hear yes.
Right.
You know, she's not worried about the no's in between versus the pretty girls waiting to be picked. You know, I
Yes.
think sometimes people think I'm going to meditate on this thing and it's just going to show up, you know, without any
Right.
type of effort. There also has to be a little bit of action with the intention, you know.
Right. And that's so important. That's such an important part. Like you can't just say, okay, I want this to happen, and then sit and be like, okay, it's not happening. You know, you also have to do your part as well.
Yeah.
And so that's important. People that's coming on, I want you to share, how can you implement this in your life? Like, how can you take action and be more like, okay, I want this, and really like, what is it that you could do that could change that? Does that make sense, my question? Because I feel like a lot of people go through that where they want something, or but they're not confident, or they're not sure that they deserve it. So can you see people that's coming on, any areas in your life where you can make that change? And I just want to say real quick, I think the sound is going really well. If there hasn't been any issues, I swear, I think this is my first live that we didn't have any
They have to
issues.
stop. See?
That energy of essence. I was
That
expecting
was
it
really
today. I was like, Essence is coming on. We're not having any issues with the audio. And this is the first. So I'm excited. I'm about to do the happy dance. So so let's see. Zakia says, I could become so much more productive. And yes, all sound great. Yeah, yeah, you can. And how do you think, what do you think you could do to become more productive? Like when we're talking about this energy, like how could you become more productive? And Yas says, sound, yes,
good.
sounds good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
You can hear us.
cool. Oh, you talking about the sound?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm like, ooh. Yas knows, she's been on quite a few of mine, so she knows that my sound be going all kind of crazy. Um, and we're going to get back into this. I want people to kind of, share what you can do, like how you can be more productive, what you can do moving forward to work on these manifestations, and not just be like, I want this, I want this, I want this, and still doubt and worry. Because I think that's a big thing for many of us. But I want to ask you, and then we're going to come back around to the, empowerment and masturbation. But how did you start working as a stripper? Like, did you like grow up in high school and say, I want to become a stripper, or like what happened?
Yeah, no, I wasn't one of those women. I've met them though. I've met women
Mm-hmm.
that have been like, I knew I wanted to be a stripper forever. I have to set reminders too, yes. It's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
How did I? Well, I'm a performer as my day job, and what they don't tell you when you get out of school, while you're in school, is that you have to learn how to run yourself as a business when you're a performer, because there's no boss. So how can you get auditions, and how can you free up your time? Auditions happen between 9 and 5
Mm-hmm.
every Friday. So it was hard for me to just temp, or I was awful. I would leave my jacket on the back of my temp chair and like run out to an audition, have a 2-hour lunch. And that wasn't really working. So I needed something where I could make grown up money and still have control over my time. And
Mm-hmm.
originally I wasn't even trying to strip. I walked into the club trying to get a bartender job, because I figured bartenders must make good money in strip clubs because people are there to tip
Mm-hmm.
anyway.
Right.
And the manager was like, it's a nude club, so there's no alcohol. I didn't know anything about clubs, so I didn't even know that rule. You'll make more money as a stripper as opposed to just, serving this juice. And I'm like, oh, no, no, no,
Mm-hmm.
no. I have 2 degrees from NYU. And he's like, like, we got a couple NYU girls working here already too. I was like, oh, okay. Long story short, I was tired of trying to get a bartending job, because in New York, you need to have experience, and I'm horrible at lying. I really don't like doing it. I'm bad at it. And so he said, come back. I won't make you audition, and you can come back these shifts. I was like, there's shifts? I was
Right.
surprised that I'm like, there's auditions to be a stripper? I
Right.
thought you just showed up and
Right.
was like, hey, I'm going to strip. So yeah, that's how it happened. I was trying to get a bar job.
But the universe was like, mm-mm, you're gonna be a stripper.
I said to myself that day, I said, I had been looking for months and months. It was winter time. So I'd been looking at least 3 months trying to get in somewhere. And I was like, I'm not coming home today without a job.
Mm-hmm.
Should have probably been a little bit more specific.
Right.
Job I ended up coming home with. I was like, well, I asked for the job and here it is. So I spent my
Yes.
$50 to get some boots and a wig because I was not trying to show up looking like me. I was not trying to have anybody know what I was doing. I
Hmm.
lived a double life.
Wow. Wow. When I was in California one year, I think like maybe 2 years ago, and I went to a Halloween party, and at the Halloween party there was a lot of strippers,
Okay.
and I started talking to them. Well, because I started talking about my work as a tantric therapist, and the stripper started talking to me, and they were like, "Yeah, we work with sexual energy as well as a stripper, and we heal people." And I was like, "Really? How?" Because I'd never heard that before. And
Mhm.
I think that a lot of us, at least I did, unfortunately, had a preconceived notion of what a stripper was,
Yeah.
and so, I just kind of thought, it was just some girl who just, I don't know,
Decided she
didn't
wanted
really
to
care
show
about her
all the
body
stuff
or
to the
whatever.
world.
Yeah. And when I spoke, when those ladies was talking to me about how these men are coming in and they're like helping them, like some of these men can't have, don't have partners, they can never be in a relationship, they have all these different things, and sometimes they even talk to them about their
There's
problems.
all kinds of, it's funny.
Yeah.
There are memes that will go around like
Hmm.
what people think I do as a stripper and what actually I do. And you'll have
Right.
like a girl buck wild dancing on one side, and then on the side of what I actually do will be like a guy sitting on the couch, laying on the couch, and the stripper's like, mm-hmm. I mean, I've
Right.
had people tell me that I've gotten them through divorces. They're having
Hmm.
a crazy time getting through the divorce, and they come in. Sometimes just the talk, like
Yeah.
that's the part that people don't understand. A lot of times, guys would just pay for conversation. I don't know what's going on in this places now because it's been a million years since I've been in there.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was like sometimes guys would just pay you to have conversation with them because they're shy. They're not going to
Yeah.
approach women in a regular bar or regular club. So strip clubs is their thing because women are going to initiate the conversation. That's the other
Hmm.
thing too. It's kind of like an inverse of the street. Where on the streets, all the catcalling and aggressive initiation is done by men typically, not always,
Hmm.
typically. And in the club, that is like turned all the way around. The women have to step up, like, hey, you into this or not? And so
Yeah.
guys that are shy love that.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, and I definitely think, so all of these different forms of sex work is healing work. It's healing energy. And so going back to what we were talking about before, Zacchaeus says positive energy, positive climactic change, energy, LOL.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. um, and I had another lady on here before, Fairy Home Mother, who does the phone sex.
I
And
caught that
she was,
one.
did you?
Yeah,
She said something similar to what you were saying earlier. Like even with the phone sex, like it's she said, she would chant before she would get on the phones, and her energy was one of, okay, I'm going to make this money, like, very positive. She would get a whole lot of calls,
I
and
would
so
masturbate before work. Before getting in the car to go to work,
you would do what?
I would masturbate before going to strip to go to work at the club.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, okay, I want to take this energy, this sexual energy, and transmute it into earnings.
Right.
So
So,
that was always the intention before I went in. Like, I don't want to be focused on, what I think I may need sexually, right? So let me
mhm.
get that sorted out and taken care of for myself. So now I can use this power to go in and be on the prowl.
Wow, that's awesome. That is deep. And so, wow. So even like masturbating before you get into work, like that's something that people can do in all different areas, right? In any part of their life. I mean, masturbating before going to a stressful job
Right.
or about to go sign a contract, you know. Wow, that's really good. I like that.
I think, a lot of times when people think about sex, they only think about all of the things that we were warned against. all of the different ways in which we were told that it's bad, it's bad, it's bad, it's,
Mhm.
dirty, to be avoided. And so I think we tend to carry that notion about sex and sexuality and
Mhm.
our bodies into our adult lives. And it's like, it's just a body. You know,
Yeah.
I trying to date while being a stripper was like impossible, because
Mhm.
without a secure sense of self could not get
Mhm.
this thing that it's not me, it's a character,
Right.
and everybody has a body. I don't
Mhm.
see the, me showing my body as some, like, I don't care about myself and I have low
Right.
self-esteem.
Right.
I'm like, in
Right.
fact, being naked in front of so many strangers for so many years has actually raised my self-esteem. I'm comfortable
Right.
with every dimple, every cellulite, every stretch mark that is
Mhm.
there at this point, because
Right.
you walk around the club with a bunch of 18-year-olds with titties up to here, and you just got to get
Mhm.
and be like,
Right.
what I have, and this is what I'm, gonna use. And this gets me through life. This body, it
Yeah.
breathes,
Mhm.
it functions, it does all of these things. I refuse to be ashamed of it, and all of it. We're holistic beings, right?
Mhm.
And so a lot of times, especially as Black women, we will cut off that sexual part of ourselves because we want to be taken seriously,
Right.
because we don't want to have the boss in the office trying to, like, hold on to us too long or whatever. So then I'm just going to shut off myself sexually so that I don't have to deal with that. Um,
Mhm.
and there's a place for that. And then there is a place to let it go. There's
Yes.
a place to check out some of the things you were told were absolutely awful, because you might
Mhm.
like it, you know?
Right.
You never know. If anybody would have told me that I was into some of the things that I'm into now, I'd have been like, yeah, no, we
So
don't say
true.
that. But
So
then try
true.
it and you never know. If I had
Exactly.
not done all of the things that I was told not to do, I can't even think of how boring life would be right now.
I know. I
Like,
know.
check it out. If you don't like it, you never have to do it again. And
Right.
whether it's tasting new food, trying new
Mhm.
sexual things, new work, anything, try it out.
Mhm.
You
Try
don't
it
like
out.
it, you don't ever have to do it again. You don't have to pursue it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like,
Hey, Milayo.
and so that's the thing. Yaz has a question. We're gonna get to that, but let me say one thing, piggyback on what you said, because I have a client that I'm working with now, and she was saying, like, we're working on her sexual energy and feeling beautiful and connecting to that, because her parents raised her to not say that she's beautiful, like, not saying that you're beautiful, saying you're intelligent, you're smart,
Right.
and really made an effort to not say that you're beautiful, not because she wasn't, but because she didn't want, she wanted to raise her to be able to be smart, intelligent, to get ahead in the world and be
Yeah.
successful. And so people don't realize that that sexual energy is connected to
To
that,
to the whole.
the
It's all,
whole.
it's a part of the whole.
Yeah. So if that is cut off, how is this person going to be successful? Like, truly successful?
Hmm.
You have to be connected to that sexual energy.
Yep.
Have
I'm like,
to.
look for where all the blocks is. The blocks may be sexual. The blocks may be around feelings and emotions. The blocks may be, they could be places that you don't even know they are. They're that
Yes.
there. So, I'm like, I think it's important to realize that we have to tap into the wholeness of who we are. And
Mm-hmm.
you can be perfectly professional and a boss and intellectual and smart and really enjoy being naked for strangers
Yes.
all at the same
Right.
time. Nothing can take
Right.
away my intelligence. Nothing can take away my intelligence. Somebody calls me a
Nothing.
hoe can't take away my intelligence. Somebody thinking that I should not enjoy sex because they're miserable about whatever relationship they have about sex doesn't take away my intelligence. Nothing can take that away. So play
Right.
in all of the elements that are us.
Mhm.
You said
So
the
true.
question.
Yes. Do you feel shame about stripping?
Not at all.
Or
Um,
did
it,
you?
I did. I did.
Mhm.
I felt I was in my mid-20s when I started. So I still was very much like, I don't want to be misjudged. I don't want to be misunderstood. I don't want to be stigmatized because there's still, even today, even with, these girls are on IG and got followings and people
Right.
follow them club to club, and it's still stigmatized. It's
Yes.
still so taboo. So at that point, a million years ago, I wasn't ashamed of it. I was just avoiding what other people would say about it, because
Mhm.
I didn't want anyone to make me feel bad about the choice that I felt perfectly okay about. Um, but at this point, no, because a lot of those people that I used to silently sit and listen to them talk shit about strippers because they didn't know I was one, a lot of them now have lots and lots of student loans. And with my with my 2 degrees, I do not. I have an investment portfolio. I do not have student. So there's no shame about my game.
Right, right. Is it too late for me to become a stripper at 45? Pay off my own student
Listen,
loan.
I never say never about anything. There's some of the older women, honestly, the older women were so good. And I was like, when I couldn't figure out how to get people to say yes to me, I would watch them and be like, what are they doing? I thought maybe they had some kind of magical words or script or something they were saying.
Magic pussy.
As I get older, I realize, oh no, they just know how to harness the power of sexuality. They know how to have
Yeah.
conversations with these men. You be talking about current events, sports, politics, and still
Mhm.
have everything wrapped with that energy, and they know
Mhm.
how to do that really well.
Yes. Yes.
Please,
Yes.
if you go to Vegas right now into a club, there's somebody's grandma in there very proudly stripping and making money.
So true. So true.
I
So
would
true.
literally see old ladies in Vegas, like, and I didn't know their stories. I'm like, I wonder if they've just been doing this for so long that nothing else makes sense. Like, it makes it really hard to trade your time for money when
Hmm.
you get a paycheck and you're like, this is for the whole week.
Right.
Like, this isn't even a good night. Don't understand.
Right. Right. So thank you guys for coming on. Hello, Milayo. Thanks, Yas, for the question. If you guys have other questions, feel free to keep asking. And just kind of going back to what you were saying as well about trying new things. I think this is one of the things that kind of helped get me where I am, because I feel like if I wasn't doing, no, I feel like before I have an ex who was like, oh, let's go to a strip club. I mean, a swingers club. And I
Okay.
was like, swingers club? I ain't going to no swingers club. What's wrong with you? But I ended up going.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I actually like this. And so that was part of what started to open me up, and open me up to sexuality. Then I had another friend, I'm not going to say her name, but she was like, let's go. I don't know, somehow she ended up taking me to a playhouse. And
Okay.
I loved it. And I was like, oh my God. So, so it's so crazy. And I think that helped me to be able to expand and do something different with my work,
Yeah.
because I was a traditional psychotherapist, but
Okay.
having expanded and doing and trying different things, I got to see what I like. I got to become more comfortable with me and know who I am. And I got to get rid of all of these different shames and all of these different preconceived things that's put in our heads
Yeah.
by media and these people, who are miserable.
When I was
So
working, I used to think, oh my God, if anything happens to me, the sum total of all my experiences, everything I've done, every place I've been, every paper I've written, every research I've researched would all be null and void. The fact that I'm a daughter, the fact that I'm a big sister, the fact that I am somebody's favorite cousin would all be erased, because the headline would be stripper dead because la 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 la.
mhm,
And once people hear stripper or escort or any of those things, they automatically check out, like, oh well, it's not a human
right,
being anyway, so
right,
what did they expect?
right. So
As opposed
true.
to really thinking like, I'm someone's daughter, I'm a person,
Right,
even if
right.
he wasn't related to anybody else. I'm a person. Everybody is a person. Every sex worker is a person. And
Mhm. Every life
there is
matters.
that stigma that holds a lot of people back from being able.
Oops. I think the internet went out. Is it just me or did Essence go out? So, not hearing her. I think it went out. So yes, Rex, I'm so different than when I was in high school. It's definitely all these different things that I experienced after college. um, out. So yes, is it out for both of us or just Essence? Um, so yes, says I remember when I was young, men looked at me and found me sexy, but I didn't know how to be sexy until I was older. I knew what to do and say, and I felt power. Oh, okay, her computer died. She just sent a message. All right, so I think she's gonna try to get that back on.
Okay,
Hopefully. Okay, she's coming back on. We
I
just don't see
am
your
back.
face.
Where's my camera?
So, um,
My mic.
yeah,
Okay, so you unmuted my mic. I can't see the picture.
yeah, your camera's not on. Oh, I spoke too soon with the technical difficulties. Let me
Look, but we still have sound.
we still have sound.
We still
But
have
we gotta
sound.
see your beautiful face. Okay,
Uh
so Rex asks, when
huh.
did you begin to express your sexuality and how are you so comfortable talking about it? So while she's doing that, let me answer and then Essence can answer too.
Maybe I'm
But
gonna remove myself from the screen stream and see if you add me back.
okay, I think you're gonna have to. Are you on your cell phone?
No, I'm on a computer.
Okay, because you could also come on from your cell phone. I don't know, or maybe you have to check to see your camera's turned off.
Yeah,
Michael says, mhm,
go ahead.
I'm with y'all. Great show. We still have sound. Okay, if
Okay,
you want to keep talking,
I'll just keep talking.
you gotta figure it out.
You all
Okay,
saw
well, let
what
me
I
just
look like.
answer Rex. Yeah, let me answer
Um,
Rex's question, and then you can. Oh, you
sure,
want
sure.
to finish what you were saying before you got cut off? Go ahead
I
and finish what you were saying
remember
first,
where I
and then we'll
was
get to the
now.
question. Oh shoot, I kind of forgot too.
It's all good. We'll answer Rex's question and then it'll come back around. Um,
Okay,
oh, somebody
when
said
did
I
you?
like that. When did you begin to express your sexuality and how are you so comfortable talking about it? Well, I grew up in a very strict British Caribbean Christian household. And so I wasn't allowed to do anything. And when I got to college, I went to school in New York. So the village was my campus, number one. And back in the day, the village wasn't what it was now. It was like all these people just being free, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I was a sexual health advocate in college. So that was one of the things that we did was go to different groups and talk about sex and sexuality and reproductive different ways that you can protect yourself from STIs and birth control and all those different kinds of things, showing women, how the speculum works and how everything is going to go. Like I had my own speculum, the plastic kind, not those scary, scary metal ones. So yeah, just teaching people about sex and making sex something more comfortable to talk about was something I've started doing since I was like a sophomore, freshman in college.
Okay. And then I'm going to answer that as well. So, for me, I had always been a sexual being as well. Rex, I'm reading your next thing that you're a very sexual person, but
Huh.
she's back. And so, but so same thing, similar. I grew up in a Christian family. I strongly felt like, oh my God, I gotta wait until I get married. And so, even in high school, like honestly, I tried to shut it down and I wouldn't date guys. Like I didn't, I was afraid to date guys because I'm like, if something happens and I have sex, I'm going to hell. So literally, I never had sex in high school. Like I was like, it's not happening. My parents will kill me. I'll go
Yes,
to hell. Like,
all those things.
like all of it. I was like terrified. And so honestly, what happened, once at post college, really, I guess I had freaky boyfriends and they brought it out in me. Well, in college, in college, when I, first started having sex, like it came out and then really it wasn't until when I moved to Brazil, honestly, at like 30 some years old and working with Tantra, I
Uh-huh.
started to realize how sexual energy is everything. Sexual energy is our life force energy. It's our vital life force energy.
From
And it's
plants to animals.
nothing, from plants to animals, it is nothing to be ashamed about. And so honestly, I got to the point where I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna shit, I'm gonna talk. And at first, I'm gonna say, at first, when I started working with this, I have my business name, Prandata Prim, which was my initiated name in Tantra. And I was like, I'm gonna do everything under Prandata Prim. I'm gonna talk about sex and everything under Prandata Prim. Because then nobody needs to know that this is Renee doing this. That way I
Gotcha.
don't have to worry about my family being embarrassed or anything. And honestly, at some point I got tired. It was even almost like living that double life, like you talked about.
It's exhausting.
It's
By the
exhausting.
by, like not being yourself is freaking a lot of work.
A lot of
Oh
work. And I
God.
was like, I can't do this. I'm gonna
It,
start, sharing on my personal page and talking. And it just got to, yeah. So that was just it. I was like, none of these people, none of them are putting food on my table. None of them are paying my bills. So I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna talk
yeah.
about what I want. I'm gonna say what I want. And that's really what it's all about. And if anybody has an issue, it's not about you. It's about their repressed energy.
It's never about you. One of the things that I do with coaching clients is having to deal with that worry about what other people will say, what will other people think, what if people think it's horrible, what if people think da, da, da. And I'm like, I am here to tell you that as a Black woman, bisexual, immigrant, first generation anchor baby, stripper, I'm telling you that all of these things come with a lot of people that have things to say about it, and I'm still alive. None of them have stopped me from paying my bills. None of them have stopped me from traveling the world. None of them have stopped me from, building uh building finances for the future. Like none of the things that people have said have stopped me. And I'm quite clear there are people that love them some Essence Revealed, and there are some people that wish Essence Revealed would just shut up. So
Yeah.
I know they exist. I just
Hmm.
so you
Yeah.
say to my face, you ain't gonna be my ass. So
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
talk to your friends, talk amongst your friends, whatever.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah.
I suck.
And
Yeah, great, great. I'm just looking from Milan though.
Michael is funny. He says, you didn't have time for sex in high school because you were too busy helping me pass my English class. Good thing, Michael. Or else I wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here.
Right?
So, so funny. So it's funny. It just kind of came to me. I've been here in Brazil too long and reading too many Sanskrit things. So when I was reading your bio, you put Bayesian, all right? And I was like, Bajan, what is Bajan? I know
Yes,
it
oh
as
Beijing.
Bajan.
Yes,
And
yes.
then just now it hit me when you said, when you talked about
Yes,
immigrant
my
parents. I was
mummy
like,
is from Guyana, British Guyana, but
yeah,
she moved to Barbados when she was 2 and been there ever since. So as far as she's concerned, she's pretty much Bajan. And my
yeah,
dad was born and raised in Barbados. So
right,
Barbados and
right.
Guyana. Boop, boop.
And I started to send you a message saying, what is Bajan? Good thing I did it.
And if people can say
Bajan.
Bajan and they can say Barbadian, do not say Barbadian. As long as you stick with the Bajan, then we're good.
Let me share this. So Michael says, and this is so good. So I'll keep it real. I'm 45, done got a dad body, and don't feel sexy all the time. However, it's unfair to my wife because she'll think it's about her, but it's about me.
Ah,
So
gotcha.
glad you shared that. Yes, because
Yeah,
so many
thank
go
you
through
for
that.
sharing that. It's
That
interesting
takes a lot of
how,
courage and strength to share that.
yeah, the focus is always around how women feel
Hmm.
about their bodies and how women feel around sexuality and potentially what blocks are there. But I've dated almost every man that I've dated. I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say I have dated men who have had issues with their bodies. And it was always so surprising to me because that's not something that you see. Like I dated a guy who would
Hmm.
put his shirt on immediately right after we had sex, and I'm like, I love what's under there, obviously, because here I am.
Hmm.
So I think it's a matter of the practice of knowing that, those are voices in your head that don't really mean anything to your wife, because your wife
Mhm.
loves you. I've been in relationships though where people are all about the superficial thing, and you have to look like this and you have to dress like that and you have to have makeup on in public and you have to blah blah blah. And none of those things matter at the end of the day if you're with someone who really, 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 really loves you and you're married. So I'm going to assume that your wife really, really loves you. I have dated men with six packs and I've dated men with bellies. And for me, it's more about what is inside of that person. You know,
Mhm.
um, we can always do things for our bodies. We can always do we know you just got to burn more calories than you're putting in. But in the meantime, what if you just allowed that dad bod to be sexy? You know how many women are dating dudes with dad bods right now? You know how many dad bods
Mhm.
I have dated? Walking
Yes.
around with? Like, you just gotta feel whatever you want to feel about your body, and then dive in and get in there with your wife, like as if you are feeling the feelings you want to feel.
Mhm.
It's
And I
almost
think
like every human being should take an acting class, so that they not only are thinking about what they want or visualizing what they want, but they also get the feeling and the
mhm.
emotions in it too.
Yes. Yeah.
'Cause
And I
otherwise,
think it's
it's
so
just like you're
important.
just saying things for, I love my body, I love my body, I love my body. No, you don't.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
want to get that feeling behind it, and then then it's believable, and then it can happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that because I do a lot of that work too, like being able to see it and feel it, and visualizing it. And I think another important thing too is just communication,
Oh my God.
and it's constantly communicating with your wife, because when you have open and honest communication, it's going to help her to realize it's not about her. And this is what you're feeling. And and yes, like especially men, women, we've got this safe space where women can talk about these things all the
Right.
time, but men don't have that space, and I want to remember that. And I've had guys tell me, Renee, do more things for guys, don't forget the men, don't forget
Yeah.
us. And it's so true, because men also need a safe space where they can share. And what's interesting is I tend to have more men coming on my lives than women, or at least more men who come on and comment than women. So that's always interesting. It's always like a lineup of men talking, and then like one or two women, So
Yeah. I mean,
I think
men
universe
might
is
not be
saying,
allowed to talk about emotions and feelings, but they certainly have permission to talk about sex, right? So
mhm, yes. And so, so Michael Rex, Rex says you are absolutely right, Mike. Communication is so important. And, working on yourself and seeing where that comes from, because that having this dad body right now and not feeling sexy, it's somewhere deeper. That comes from before, even from before that your body began to change. So really thinking about, when did you first start to kind of feel not sexy or unhappy with your body, and work through that. Write about it. Feel it, experience it, and then and you can start to see it. Once you start to see that pattern where it came from, that'll give you something to kind of help work through that. And I always like to give this example. um I've seen men, women who, looks are all subjective, right? It's all based on personal, what people think.
yep.
And I've seen people who are huge, and what standard society would say would deem them as not attractive, have like the best looking partner, like pat out, right? Or they'll walk in a room and they command the room and everybody's looking at them like they're sexy. I have
They
one friend,
are.
and they are sexy.
They
And it's
are.
so, because of what they're feeling inside. It's that energy that's within them. You know,
Yeah.
when they're like, it doesn't matter how they look on the outside. Regular standards is like, no, you're ugly, but they feel beautiful on the inside. Then everybody's like, wow, I want to be with that person. You
Yeah. I
know?
mean, I know so many women who are, bigger in size, and they have absolutely no problem dating whatsoever. The women
Hmm.
that I do know who are maybe a little bit bigger than whatever average is, I don't even know what that means anymore. Um, it's not the size that is blocking the dates. It's the what they're putting out there. If you think men ain't shit and all they're gonna do is treat you horrible, doesn't matter if you're size 0 or size 14, you're not gonna attract anyone that is about you in a positive way.
Right. I think Mike just left. So thank you. Thank you. If you haven't left, thank you, Mike, for coming on.
His
And
22-year-old
22-month-old just woke up.
22-month-old. Yeah. That's
So
22-month-old.
he's gonna go do daddy time. Yeah. And Craig, jewels are being dropped. Thanks, ladies. Thank you, Craig. Thank you for commenting. Awesome. You see how we get a lot of men on? So I'm about to do something just for the men. We have to have something for the men. I'm showing. First of all, I love y'all. I love y'all. I honor you. I honor each and every one of you. I appreciate each and every one of you. Yaz says, whew, Michael, I'm so in love with my fat husband, his personality, and he's great. I love every single thing that jiggles or flops or whatever. I love his body because it's all mine and only mine. Is a traditional beauty. Nope. Is a traditional beauty? Nope. But I really like and love his body. Love wins. So true. So true. Thank you for sharing that, Yaz. Thank you so much. And I hope Michael got to see it. We'll have to tag him on Facebook after this post if he didn't get it so he could see it.
And let's also remember, as far as like, we've done a lot of men and women in this conversation, but the issues around body and sexuality go beyond that when when you get into other genders, right? Because we're so, I am of the age group where people my age and older are strictly going to talk about men or women. They're not going to talk about trans or non-binary or asexual or any variations that people may have. I know a lot of people who identify their pronoun as they, and there are a lot of issues that they have to go through in terms of people misgendering them or bodily dysmorphia. So, body dysmorphia. So those are also other things that go into the discussion around how do you feel comfortable in your body? How do you feel comfortable touching your body when it may not look like what you ultimately want it to look like, So, I think it's important also to remember that.
Yes.
It's not just
yes. So important to remember that. So true. So true. Mitchna Tara said maybe more open. And I kind of forget because we kind of went through a whole lot of things, so I don't remember what we were saying for that.
What that was about. Tell us what you mean.
Yeah, if you could shed more on that. Sorry, that was like at 8:48, like a while ago. So sorry. And yes says, have you noticed a lot of women on your show, Caribbean? I have. And it was funny because before having the ladies on, I interviewed each of them, and I was like, wait a minute, and all of them are from the Caribbean. So I'm Haitian, Guyanese, had a Trinidadian, everything. I'm like, so what is it that Caribbean women are attracted to doing this work with sexuality? What do you think?
I think it's because, we actually were told that it was such a bad thing and so to be avoided that for me, I can only speak for myself, when I started moving into talking about sexuality, I realized that can give other people permission to talk about sexuality. That can give other people permission to think about sensuality. I teach twerk classes, and it's always thing that when women come into the studio, initially everyone's kind of like, I've even had friends that won't show up. They're scared. I don't know what they think is going to happen in a twerk class, but they are terrified of the idea of, dancing sexy in their bodies and having to move and, all of these things. But by the end of the class, everyone is clapping and cheering each other on and are like, yes, this was such a good time. So, talking about it also creates space for it to be okay for other people. and to give them permission to have these conversations and explore these things.
Yes. Okay, so she said it was a reply to Yaz.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Wow, that's so good. Are you doing these twerk classes online?
You know, it's funny. I'm actually about to. I'm looking at all the videos that I have and putting things together so that I can sell them up on my site. So yes, a beginner's twerk class will be one of the things that will be up there when I get my store up and running.
Yes. So her website is www.theessencerevealed.com. So
Yeah.
yeah, connect with her so you can get that information. I know I want it. We already connected, so I definitely want to do that. Some twerk lessons.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm like, look, ladies out there, anyone out there, get together, a group of friends, we can get on the Zoom and make it happen.
yes, make it happen. Make it happen. This was great. This was great. And this is so important. Like, I really love having these conversations, and I want to continue with this in June because it's just so important to have these talks because we're not having these talks. And going back to the to all of us women, most of us on here being Caribbean, and like you were saying, um, just kind of piggybacking on that. A lot of us from the Caribbean, we were really taught to like hold, shame, guilt, don't be too sexual. A lot of it was also for like survival,
Protection.
like
Ultimately, they
protection.
wanted to protect us.
Yeah. Like I know a lot of the older generations, there was a lot of rape, a lot of things happening as well. So it was about protection
Yeah.
and
Coming
survival.
from a loving place. I
Yeah,
don't feel like it was
definitely.
coming from a malevolent. I can't
Yeah.
say the word. A bad
Yeah.
place.
Yeah. For sure it didn't. It didn't. And I think that's the thing. Anything
But
that
it
you
left us
repress
in a bad
though,
place.
right.
You know,
But anything that you repress is going to come out. It's going to come out one way or the other. And so I think this is a lesson for people who have kids, young kids, is don't repress that sexual energy. Be open, honest, have these conversations, let them know, to connect to their body, teach them about their bodies because we're not receiving this in school. We're just constantly just the only way we can learn is from watching porn, right?
oh,
And that doesn't teach us anything. Doesn't teach us anything at all. It's all fake. We don't learn how to connect. We don't learn how to love from porn. So, it's so important to have these conversations. It's so important to be open, explore your body, masturbate. And masturbation is really the way to learn because you begin to learn your body. You
your own
begin
body.
to
Yeah.
learn what feels good. You become
Can you
more
tell
empowered.
someone, how can you communicate with someone clearly about what it is that you want if you're too embarrassed to even talk about it? So,
Exactly.
and I will also say not all porn is made alike. Because there are people who I think about King Noir and Jet Setting Jasmine. If you watch them together, they are a couple. And so, you see that connection with the type of porn that they make. Or I've
Yeah,
seen
yeah, conscious
porn, yeah,
porn,
I've
right?
seen
Yeah.
porn made by, all women. And it was really like, oh, you're watching two people actually connect as opposed to, you're our run of the mill. Let me just get it off real quick porn.
Yeah.
So there's levels to
Yeah.
everything, right? Like even in the strip club, people, the assumption is all strippers are XYZ.
Right.
And, no, not all. There are probably some that are this, some that are that, some that, everybody has different
Mhm.
comfort levels. I never was interested in full on contact with anyone. So I worked at clubs that had ear dances. So I pretty
Mhm.
much sold, table
Ear
dance
dances?
conversation.
Ear dances?
Air dances, right, as
What is
opposed
that?
to like lap dance where you're on the person and there's
Oh.
bodily contact. You hover. My quads
Mm.
were very strong.
Yes. Erica Watson says, I love Essence Revealed. I hope you do my show
I love
soon.
Erica Watson.
I asked you already. So great, Renee. Yeah,
I will
you have to do
reach out
Erica's
to you.
show Because I've
Shows
been on
have been pretty
Erica's
spicy
show.
too. Y'all gotta
It's
check out
been
Miss
pretty
Erica
spicy.
Watson's Night
Yes.
Show.
I've been on her show 2 times. I had a ball every time,
Yes,
every time. So I'm ready to go back.
yes, yes.
Rex says, "Air dances, no."
Listen, Rex, I understand. You know how I would pick a club to work at? I would go and I'm like, okay, what are the top 5 clubs in the city? And let me go look at the reviews. And if the guys are like, yes, we love the dances here, I'm like, nope, not gonna work there. And then if I got to a review that was like, oh, these girls that they're not really doing much, I would never go back there. I'm like, that's my place. That's
Right.
where I'm gonna go. I go to the places where the guys give the bad reviews, but the workers give the good reviews. So yeah, Rex, you just have to find those places that are about that contact because they are out there. And yes,
Awesome. This has been great. I definitely have to have you back on. Let's do Instagram as well. Give oh you're gonna have to get your Instagram back. But this has been
Instagram. Ever
really
since they took away my first page, I've not been up on it, but I need to. So you'll be there when I get back.
But guys, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube, please subscribe to my YouTube.
Hit
Renee
the
Adolphi,
notifications.
just hit the subscribe button. If someone's on here not connected to me, Instagram, connect, follow me on Instagram at Prandata Prim, or on Twitter, Renee Adolphi, Facebook, Renee Adolphi, Patreon, Prandata Prim, and my
Yes,
website is www.prandataprim.com. So there is no reason that you can't get a hold of me.
there you go.
Either Renee Adolphi
Everywhere.
or Prandata Prim. So you have a way of connecting. And so, and Essence, go ahead and share. Is there anything, do you have anything coming up right now? Share about your book, share whatever you want to share.
Um,
If you have.
I am going to be a part of a virtual conference. So that's pretty exciting. I'll be vending my book there, as
And
well
what's the name of your book?
the name of the book is Strip, a stripper's 20 life winning lessons. There are exercises every few chapters for you to actually do. So read the book, do the exercises, and then reach out to me and tell me what you have discovered.
Can
Because
you
I
give us one? Can you give us just one? Tempt us so we can decide whether we're gonna get that book or not.
oh,
It was just one.
it is not about dancing. It's not about so my favorite chapter is the first chapter, and it is called No Has No Power Over Me. Because I don't think that people
Mm,
realize how much rejection strippers deal with. Everybody doesn't think you're beautiful. It's just like the real world. Everyone doesn't want to spend money on you. And so I had to reframe rejection and no in my mind to where I went out and tried to collect the no's. Right. So I'm going around the club. I'm like, I know I got to get these no's to get to the yeses. So let me just get to collecting no's. So that way I'm like, good, I'm getting closer. No, good, I'm getting
mhm,
closer. No, good. I ain't find them yet. Because there's a stripper saying where we're like, it only takes one to have a good night. It only takes one good one. So the idea
mm,
of what's your thing, you're not in the strip club, but do you do PR? Do you have to pitch clients? Are you in real estate? Are you in some kind of sales? Are you a performer? What is it that you avoid the rejection from that will get you further in your pursuits? Collect the no's. Don't let
mm.
the rejection slow you down. Don't let the rejection stop you. One no, two no's, five no. I auditioned for 2 years before I started making money in the thing that is my
Mhm.
main income now. I got
Right.
all the no's for 2 years. So, that's my favorite chapter. Start collecting the no's is the tip.
Awesome. Awesome. And they could find your book on theessencereveal.com on your
It's
website
on
or
my
where?
website. You can link to it on my website. It's on, the Amazons, but
Oh,
it's
Amazon.
available on my website. I'm also going to be putting the audio book up there on my website too. So check
Okay.
out, you can find me on Facebook very easily and, DM me there. My email is essencerevealed@gmail.com.
Mhm.
So you can reach out to me there if you wanted to find out more about classes or coaching or any of those kinds of things.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. And so Rex, I want to let you know, you said let you know if there's something catered for guys, we will definitely do that. I know, like I was saying earlier, so many men are coming on. I have to do something. Now, I have been doing Tantra courses, teaching breath work, and I've had guys on there. I have another one coming up June 1st. That's a Monday, where I'm going to be doing sound, breath work, and movement to really teach you how to channel energy. And so this is for men and women. All of my courses are open for men and women. I've only been doing retreats specifically for women, but I am going to put something out there just for men as well, just for men. And I think Essence, you should too.
Man, please help them with the communication.
Yeah.
We didn't even. I have dealt with people that have trauma and think they're okay,
Yeah.
and don't see the ways in which it affects them. And one of the way it affects them is having conversations around feelings and emotions. Just clicks off some circuit in their brain, and it's like, no, I'm just gonna have an argument. I'm not gonna talk about feelings and emotions. I'm just gonna start an argument. And we need less of that, fellas. Just
we do.
do whatever work you need to do to get in tune so that you can have an easy conversation about anything, whether it's or issues in the relationship, or we need that clear communication.
Yeah. So Rex, it's online. The last two that I did have been online. June 1st is online as well. It's all virtual, so can reach more of the masses. And speaking about trauma, we all have trauma, all of us, which is why a lot of my tantric work is about releasing the trauma and blockages. And it's not just talk therapy; it's through the movement. As Black people, especially, who've been beaten, raped, all kinds of things, psychologically put down. We have traumas. We have generational traumas.
That too.
And so that trauma stays in our cellular memory, so it's with us, whether we know it or not. And so we have to do this work to heal, to release those traumas.
I've made a decision. I'm not dating anyone who hasn't done that work anymore.
Yeah.
Because the healthier you get and the more aware you are of these things, the harder it becomes to have relationship with people who haven't done the work, because they just think that you're being domineering or know it all, or judging them. They're not taking it from a loving place at all. So I'm like, I'm done. So good work, fellas.
Right.
Men too, and women too. We're not, we're no angels. Everybody just needs to do the work. If you live in America, you probably got some things to work through.
So true. So true. All right, Rex. Yeah. So it's every Monday. This course that's coming up is a 5-week course at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I guess I could write that down. I'll send you a flyer. I'll send you a flyer. Same here, Tamika. What is that? You locking it in your schedule for the course, or what's the same here about? Can you let us know? So yeah, it's every Monday, 5 weeks, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be doing sound movement, breath work.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna be healing. We're gonna be getting rid of lots of these traumas. We're gonna be learning how to channel that energy. I've done 2 previously that were really great, and I'm doing this next one. Doing this next one starting next week. So, okay. She said, same here. No longer dating men who have not done their healing work.
No, absolutely not. It's a deal breaker. Absolutely not.
Yeah. Yep. Same here as well. Tamika, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun.
You're welcome. This was really fun. I really loved it.
Taboo.
You were amazing. It was so great to have you. We definitely have to do this again, and you definitely have to go on Erica Watson's show.
Yes, Erica, I will DM you. She's been doing amazing shows. I will find you.
Yes. Love you too, Tamika.
Love you back, Tamika.
Tamika is another amazing sister who does healing work. I'm gonna have to have you come on, Tamika, too, for one of my lives. Tamika does some amazing healing work as well. She leads retreats as well. She's starting a new venture, Sisters in Business. I'm sorry, I might be messing up the name. Sisters in Business Talk or Conversation, something like that. But whatever she does is great. She's a Virgo like me, so Virgos, they be doing the damn thing. So check her out. She has some great stuff. Rex, thank you for coming on. He says, thank you, ladies. This has been really great. Thank you so much. This has been awesome. So it's so hard for me to say goodbye.
It's so hard to say goodbye. It's not
Yeah.
goodbye. It's just until next time.
Yes. All right. So thank you guys, everyone, for coming on. Let's see. Oh, she got it.
Sisters in
Sisters in
Business
Business
Table
Table
Talk.
Talk. Thanks for the
Awesome.
plug. I was really just wanting to listen to the information. No worries. I mean, we have a saying here in Brazil, "Estamos juntos." We're together. I love that in Brazil. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. And you're welcome for the plug. Like, I would not have plugged you if I did not believe in your work, if I did not know how great you were. So that says a lot that I mentioned you in this. So awesome, guys. Check her out. She's Tamika Petrie on Facebook as well as Instagram. She's done some great stuff. All right. So yes, if you have not subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel. Connect to me on Facebook, Instagram, either Renee Adolfi or Pandada Prim. Connect to Essence Revealed at Essence Revealed. And have a great night.